Not everything in the galaxy needs to come with us, you know.
Now would be a good time to reprioritize what we bring with us and what we leave behind. Or sell. Or throw away, even.
How can I be of service, Captain?
Welcome to the clinic. If you have a medical emergency, please use priority docking.
The paint.
Just one quiet day. This area's off limits. Authorized personnel only. An outbreak? I haven't heard anything about this. No, I don't want to die horribly along with... Damn. You're really serious. It's really that bad? What is it? Do we need to sound an alarm or something? Understood. Here's an access card. Good luck.
I don't want to go over this again. I'm tired, all right? Just not today.
Hey, who let you in here? This is a restricted area. Fine. I'll tell you. We're on a private contract with Infinity Ltd. It's for something they call Project Dominion. Dr. Lane and I were instructed to conduct human trials on several... volunteers. So far, only one patient has survived. You're telling me? When Infinity hired us, they said human trial authorization was already underway and we'd have the approvals in a matter of days. The days went by, and nothing. Every time we'd ask, it was always just days away, but we kept working. Between the money and potential success, it was easy to tell ourselves that they'd come through.
Sean, what the hell is going on here? Who is this? You think we stood by and did nothing? We did everything we could to save them. You've no idea how many hours we've spent in surgery and how closely we've monitored each and every one of them. This is a research facility where research is being done. We just need more time and experimentation. Sean spoke the truth. We thought the approval would arrive any day, so we continued with the project. By the time we started to catch on, it was already too late. We were too immersed in the lie.
Doctors are supposed to act ethically. Approvals or not.
I think you're being a little overdramatic here.
No, he's right, Ken. It's what you and I both deserve after going along with this mess. How long have we talked about walking away or refusing to work? We oversaw the death of 9 people here, and it may as well be 10. Infinity may have lied to us, but they also paid us well enough that we did nothing.
You'd let some stranger like this just ruin our careers?
Yes, and you're going to let them too. Go ahead. Get whatever information you need to take this place and Infinity down. I'll make sure Dr. Lane remains cooperative.
I can see you think I deserve this. I just never thought it'd go this far.
Looks like it. This should be more than enough. Now, I shall excuse myself and get to work on finalizing this prototype.
So, what did you learn about CM Station RC-1? Lucas must be desperate if he hired them to collect the Rothosite. Were there any survivors? Corporate culture may have its ugly side, but that doesn't mean we've lost our humanity. Our moves are strategic and precise, as you should know. The moment we justify the slaughter of innocents is when we go from competitive to criminal. Our station on Carinae 3A and Consolidated Mining's contract were both confidential. We had no reason to believe they'd be under any threat. Of course, we had no reason to believe we had a mole, either. Good. I may not condone murder, but I refuse to have sympathy for indiscriminate killers like Ecliptic, especially after massacring innocents working for us. Now, I also had a report that you were spotted at the clinic. I take it you traced the shipment there? I figured it was related. And were you able to determine the purpose of this secure wing? They're going to pay, all right. But if you have something to add to their list of criminal activity, I'll be happy to use whatever fuel you can provide. So, it sounds like Lucas has reached a new level of desperation to ensure his future as CEO.
Infinity appears to be on an entirely different level of corruption. It cannot be allowed to continue.
I'll make sure Yuko's team extracts every bit of information they can from the clinic's database on this. Between hiring Ecliptic and unauthorized human trials, we have enough to take Lucas down for good. And with the Rothosite secure, it's almost time for us to make our move. Not long, according to her. She and DeMarcus have everything prepped and ready. I believe it's just a matter of creating the alloy and molding it according to her design. Unfortunately, your skills will be needed elsewhere, but only for a brief detour. I'm sure you remember your actions during Directive Theta, especially in regards to Administrator Bayou. Thanks to your inability to follow protocol, we now owe him a debt. One that you get to pay.
And there it is. All roads lead to Bayou.
Of course, and we'd be doing them if not for your own show of incompetence. That is a very long game you're referring to, for a future I hope we all see someday. The Administrator wants us to deal with a rival operative. And when I say deal with, it means he wants them dead. This is not an assignment I give lightly. Our business relationship with Bayou must be maintained at all costs. Deal with the operative as you see fit. As long as your report states the target was eliminated, we'll tell Bayou that the task is complete. I can see how you might come to that conclusion, but I've never been one to condone violence where subterfuge may suffice. Find the operative and do what you must. We already have a team prepped to handle any fallout. When it's done, report back to Dalton. I have a meeting to prepare for.
Damn it. Please tell me that seeing you here is just a coincidence. I needed a job, so when a rival corp offered me a chance to be an operative, I took it. My first test was breaking into the trade tower to get access codes. It didn't go as planned. A guard spotted me. I hoped they wouldn't be able to ID, but looks like that's just my luck. I knew it! I knew that job was gonna come back to haunt me. But I'm also still alive, which means you're willing to talk, right? Look, you promised you'd listen. You just hear me out. And I am so grateful you remembered, because I do very much enjoy living. Working at Ryujin taught me I always needed a backup plan. I have a place. It's not in the settled systems, so it'd be almost impossible to track me. Just let me go there, and no one will ever hear or see me again. I figured as much. I'll leave as soon as I'm able. Which is only a matter of hours. Thanks for listening. I guess now we both know I never got that damn promotion.
I've got my eye on you.
Ah, back from doing Administrator Bayou's little favor. I quite share your sentiment. I'll send word along to the Administrator that amends have been made. For now, you've got more important things to deal with. I briefed Masako on the mole and went over the evidence you brought from Nyx in detail. The evidence you provided was enough.
Perhaps this is best left with minimal input on our part.
After some debate, we decided to fully disclose the results in this meeting. So I wanted you to be prepared. Yes, as the operative behind the investigation, it's important you attend to answer any questions the other board members may have. No. Directive Theta will remain confidential. We now know how effective it is, and may need to resort to it again in the future. Good. As long as the board isn't feeling difficult today, this meeting should go smoothly. Now, let's get this over with, shall we? We called you all together to discuss a recent security breach. We discovered a mole within the company who leaked vital information about Project Dominion to Infinity Ltd.
You've got to be kidding me.
Just don't tell me it's Vina. I think we've all noticed she's not here.
Before you speculate any further, no, it's not Vina. The guilty party is Imogene Salzo, much to my disappointment. Our operative here obtained the evidence to confirm it.
Dalton, how does something like this happen?
Imogene is highly trained. Ularu can even speak to that. We demand the best. So that's the threat we deal with.
I may have well-trained operatives, but security is your responsibility, Dalton. This is a huge failing on your part.
I accept the responsibility, but let's not forget. The mole has already been exposed and dealt with.
Of course, thanks to another of my operatives. I know you're not insinuating that this is my fault.
Imogene's been dealt with, so bickering is pointless. All I care about is reacquiring our property and what this might be costing us financially.
Vina is completing the internal neuroamp prototype as we speak. Our operative will receive the implant, infiltrate Infinity Ltd, and obtain any and all research. I have it on good authority the experimentations they've done to replicate the missing pieces of our work have resulted in fatalities.
I can't imagine the mess their legal department has on their hands.
If I may make a suggestion, we should give this evidence to David at SSNN. It's the best neutral method of releasing this information to the general public.
That'd make my job easier.
David it is, then.
Misako, the internal neuroamp is ready if you want to send down the candidate.
I hope you're ready for this. You always have a choice. You just have to decide which set of consequences you prefer to live with. Vina will be waiting for you in the neuroamp division in R&D. Once you're done, meet me in my office. Be ready to discuss the details of your next assignment.
I do not wish to judge, but I doubt you truly need to be carrying all of that.
Are you sure you're okay? You left pretty fast.
I'm fine.
Ryujin has certainly taken time to craft an appearance for itself.
Almost literally.
Was your first test run? It could have been worse.
Yeah, I just need a few minutes to sort myself out. And let the smoke settle.
That smoke's long since cleared. It's the smell that's lingering. But it's no worse than that time Bezzy singed off all his facial hair.
We don't get a lot of visitors up here.
And we still give him hell over that.
Double check those measurements are right.
Nero amps are fascinating, are they not? I am still surprised they have not been completely outlawed.
Hey there. Ah, here's my lucky candidate. I hope you're ready to embark on one amazing journey. The internal neuroamp is basically the next leap in our line of influential amplifiers. It gives the user dominion over a less dominant target, meaning you can heavily influence another person's thoughts and actions. Technically, that remains to be seen. It's not legal, but those decisions will be left up to a higher power who is neither you nor me. Hey, let's not get carried away there. That terminology is a bit heavy-handed. So, are you ready to get started? Neurosurgery is my specialty. I've performed more operations than I can count on a wide variety of brains. So I like to think that I'm wildly overqualified. Really, I could do this in my sleep. Yes, I always love a willing subject. Now, just a few details before we begin. Obviously, we'll be putting you under. I'll be making a small incision in the back of your skull where the internal neuroamp will be fitted. The whole procedure should only take 3 to 4 hours with little to no downtime afterwards, provided DeMarcus got everything entered correctly.
Did I not just say I quadruple-checked the numbers?
You know I'm just giving you a hard time. Besides, I've got to make sure my patient is reassured. There's little to no risk, assuming your brain is typical and you don't have any adverse reaction to the anesthesia. First sign of trouble, we back out and start evaluating other candidates. Of course. We've got, what, 5 PhDs between the two of us?
6, but who's counting?
All I'm saying is that you're in good hands. Now, just lie down on the table once you're ready, and we should be good to go.
If this has not all been a horrible miscalculation, then we will speak again soon.
You appear dehydrated. I suggest the immediate ingestion of a moderate quantity of water.
All right, let's get this party started. Well, look who's finally up. The operation was a success, obviously. Once you're able to refocus, let me know how you're doing. So, how are you feeling? You look good? Huge success. No surprises, no signs of rejection. You were the ideal subject. Now, we just keep our fingers crossed and hope no unknown side effects come creeping in later. Yep, that's me every morning. But the whole point of this is no visual indication and no adverse side effects. So, sounds like we're on track. Just a couple quick notes before using the internal neuroamp. First, you can only influence one person at a time. And second, the effect is temporary, so be prepared if you use it in a combat situation. Let's just say it varies based on the user. Some people have greater mental capabilities than others, which would increase the duration. Great. Now let's test this sucker out. DeMarcus has graciously volunteered for science, he says. Our preliminary testing was rigorous enough that there's little to no risk involved here. The biggest unknown was finding the perfect compatible alloy for the implant. We've had the tech itself working externally for quite some time. He knows what the external ones are like, but he hasn't had the chance to play guinea pig with this one yet. He's ready and waiting in the test chamber for whenever you're ready to give that neuroamp a whirl. Just head up the stairs nearby to the observation deck.
I am not permitted to perform medical practices. without human oversight.
So what do you research and develop up here anyway? I've always wondered.
Name a Ryujin product and someone up here is probably working on it. The crown jewel's the neuroamp division though, obviously.
Ah, so that's why there are so many other guards on this floor.
Yeah? Management's gotten pretty paranoid about corporate spies lately. If anyone else got their hands on our neuroamp technology, I'm sure the execs would lose it.
If you ask me, DeMarcus is a little too excited about all this.
As an observer, the effect is quite unnerving. It is hard not to immediately worry about the implications.
Oh my god, that was incredible. What was it like?
Wow. How to describe it? 1 minute I was excited about seeing how the experiment would go. The next, I had a brief moment of disorientation and figured I must have lost my train of thought. It felt eerily natural. And yes, I admit it, just as you predicted.
I knew it, I knew it, I knew it! I can hardly wait to finish writing up my latest dissertation. And you owe me 100 creds.
I'll be keeping myself under constant surveillance now. I'm curious if any other side effects may manifest.
So, tell me all about it. How did it feel? Any side effects? Well, I'd leave that up for Alexis and Lyndon to decide. Compensation's not really my thing. Well, luckily that isn't up for you to decide. I hope you know, you're talking about banning my life's biggest accomplishment.
I'd even go as far as to call it the settled system's biggest accomplishment. That's something Ryujin isn't going to let go of easily. It really was fascinating how all I experienced was a moment of disorientation. It's truly remarkable tech. Not at all. But I can imagine if I experienced disorientation like that, but regained my awareness in another room, it could be a bit jarring. We'll definitely be running some more tests in the future, though. So many situations to account for. Those are the kind of edge cases that I let the board work out. Obviously, tech like this is going to come with its fair share of red tape. Maybe that's the beauty of it. You'd never know. Besides, the neuroamp isn't total control. If a subject's morals or beliefs in something are strong enough, we still see points of failure. That being said, it's been interesting to discover the actions our subjects sanction in their own minds.
Okay. As much as I'd love to go over the details and potential of this amazing piece of technology I created, Masako wants to see you. It sounds like you have an assignment to complete, and DeMarcus and I have a lot of notes to record.
Didn't V say Masako wants to see you? I still can't get over how incredible that was. I really don't remember a thing. Not a thing. It was like those moments where you lose your train of thought, or space out for just a moment. If you're worried about using it in Infinity's HQ, I guarantee no one there's going to notice. Well, sure. It's one of the many things where, in the wrong hands, it can be considered exceptionally dangerous. But at the same time, have you read about the Colony War? A tool like the internal neuroamp could be the key to preventing another one. If you'd seen the studies and tests we've run, you'd understand why I'm not concerned. Besides, if anything does happen, I've got the best neurosurgeon in the settled systems to help me find a solution. I'd be happy to chat again, anytime.
Any mercenary or disgruntled worker can go shoot a place up. You're a Ryujin operative, so start acting like one. Now, I had Ularu create a program that you need to run on both Lucas and Faye's computers. I'll let her explain the details.
You see, once we expose Infinity Ltd, all of their data is going to come under intense scrutiny. We only want the public to know about their mercenary hires and unauthorized human trials, but Project Dominion needs to remain confidential. I've created an overseer program that will gather all the evidence we need, and at the same time delete anything relating to Ryujin and the internal neuroamp. Anyone who comes forward to defend Lucas would be prosecuted as either aiding or being an accessory to these crimes. They all know career suicide when they see it. As for Lucas himself, if he wants to speak up and add corporate theft to his laundry list of crimes, fine. But who's going to believe him?
It is best to keep the public unaware of such a device.
If the media were to draw their own conclusions, I'm certain they'd just create a panic among people. Controlling the narrative is of the utmost importance.
Understood.
No, we don't want to mess on this one. A body count will only distract from what we're trying to accomplish here. In fact, unless they're a master at being one with the shadows, I'd suggest you leave your friend behind. Lower the risk. Simon Rychek provided some useful info on how to evacuate civilians from the building. I'm sure you remember him from Sidonia. Infinity's maintenance crew is understaffed. It's only a matter of time before pressure gauges go unchecked and they have a massive issue on their hands. Once that pressure becomes too much, every floor in the building is going to suffer from gas leaks, setting off an automated alarm to evacuate the building. Simon was able to get a passcode for you to access their system's computer, so you can force the heating system to fail. If the information Simon provided is accurate, you can reach the control systems through a computer located in the maintenance area. It's a pretty convenient stop if you enter in through the roof access. I'm told security has masks to handle the situation, so the guards will still be stationed in the building. It's also possible they'll activate their building's defense system as well. You may run into a few automated turrets, so you'll still want to try and stay out of sight. My thoughts exactly. We're also issuing you an operative suit. It should help reduce their ability to detect you. These suits are typically reserved for the senior ranks, but we want to reduce as much risk as possible. Please, you're an exception. But we can talk promotion after you pull off this assignment. Well, you're still here, so apparently you didn't need it that bad.
Once you've run the Overseer program and obtained the prototype, your final step is to deliver the slate to David Barron at the SSNN field office. If he asks questions, feel free to give him just enough information to pique his interest, but no mention of Ryujin or who you are. SSNN is used to anonymous tips. They'll do whatever verifications they deem necessary on their own to confirm the story. It doesn't matter what he believes. David's first move will be to verify the information you provide. Once he receives confirmation, which he will, he'll see it as his duty to report the news. Ularu assured me it's safe.
The Overseer program will purge itself once its primary function is complete. The only thing left on that slate will be proof of Infinity's crimes.
It certainly will, and we'll have front row seats. So, any final questions before you go? Depending on whether or not you evacuate the building, you'll mostly be looking at security guards, much like we have here. You may encounter an automated defense system in the form of turrets as well, so be careful. Pay attention. We're giving you a slate with a program that has to be run on Lucas Drexler and Fei Sengsavan's computers. You also need to steal their current prototype of the internal neuroamp kept on their R&D floor. Once you're done, you're bringing the slate to David Barron at SSNN, and you're returning here to me with the prototype. You have the ability to manipulate others. If someone's in your way, you could get them to move. If someone has a keycard, that means you have a keycard. The possibilities here are really up to you. You'll be restricted to the marketing floor. An appointment is not a free pass. Good luck, and be sure to report directly back to me when you return.
Come with me. I have everything you need for this assignment in my office.
Don't wander into any restricted areas.
As much as I hate to admit it, Masako's plan is fairly straightforward and effective. Believe it or not, Masako did a brief stint in operations. It was before my time, of course, but I heard she was quite the technician. It's not like she casually moved through the ranks either, and when it came to being CEO, she seized that position. Ask her about it sometime. Well, while you still can. I'm only thinking it's a shame I can't keep her on as my own replacement. In an ideal world, Imogene would at least still be around. But the downside of making a move like this is that those bridges will never be rebuilt. Of course, one way or another. Should too many linger on Masako's side, I'll just have you use that internal neuroamp to make up their minds for them. Very astute. It's nice to see you're living up to expectations as an operative. Lucky for you, my side of the plan doesn't involve any extra legwork on your end. The program that Masako had me write will be doing all the heavy lifting. While it's downloading the evidence needed, it will also be interspersing an array of files that will say Masako was heavily involved.
I suppose that removes any lingering questions about the kind of operation this is.
That's right. The board will assume Masako either misled us, or that Imogene was working for her. so you have nothing to worry about. Now here's everything you need. Simon's passcode, your operative suit, the Overseer program, and your cover identity. Your cover ID card is encoded with roof entry and elevator access, so that's your ticket in, either way. Don't screw this up. Skylar Lumen? Don't forget to have fun in there, Up. Sure, don't get caught. Seriously though, you have that internal neuroamp for a reason. Don't let power like that go to waste. Their heating and ventilation systems are in critical condition. I'd say all they need is a gentle nudge in the right direction before Infinity has a gas leak on their hands. Just look for the maintenance systems computer by the roof access point. If you choose to use this information, I recommend entering Infinity Ltd through the roof access. That way, you can reap the immediate benefits. Only that you're the CEO of a new little startup called Lumen Interactive. The rest is entirely up to you. I trust you can create and maintain facts to your own story. The Overseer program is designed to systematically scrub any reference to Ryujin Industries and Project Dominion off of any computer in Infinity Ltd's network. At the same time, it's going to be copying any files regarding CM Station RC1 and the clinic onto the slate I gave you. Last but not least, it's going to upload a series of communications onto Lucas Drexler's computer that will tie everything back to Misako. It makes your job rather easy, if you ask me. Wow, pay attention much? I know there's a lot of moving parts, but remembering details is a part of the job description. That Overseer program I gave you? You need to make sure you run it on Lucas and Faye's computers. Then you need to steal whatever prototype Faye has concocted down in R&D. Once you're done, you hand that slate over to David Barron at SSNN, and then report back to Misako with that prototype.
I look forward to listening to SSNN when you return. It's not obvious yet? Take control of the situation. With the internal neuroamp, you can manipulate others any way you choose. If there's a key card, make someone hand it over. Or perhaps make them open the door themselves. You get the idea. Should you get caught, we'll deny knowledge of your plans, as usual. It will be your responsibility to find a way to still complete your assignment and return to us when it's done. You need to run Ularu's Overseer program on Lucas Drexler and Fei Song Savan's computers, and steal their current iteration of the internal neuroamp. Lucas's office will be on the top executive floor, while Fei's office and their version of the internal neuroamp prototype will be in R&D, the basement level. Once finished, you bring the slate to David Barron at SSNN and the prototype back to me. Faye is the head of Infinity Ltd's research and development team. She's notorious for her lack of morality, so it's no surprise that Lucas has a woman like her in charge. You should ask Vina about her sometime. I've heard they have a bit of a competitive history. I was elected CEO when my predecessor, Itaru Saito, was proving to be incompetent. He was jeopardizing our relationships with both the Freestar Collective and Benjamin Bayou, which would have made doing business extremely difficult for Ryujin. Just look at our position. We're based in Neon, a city controlled largely by Benjamin Bayou. And Neon is inside the Freestar Collective, controlled by the Council of Governors. I think the answer is obvious. The Council of Governors is a group of political and corporate elite that oversee the Freestar Collective. They institute the laws and have the Freestar Rangers to enforce them. And, of course, Administrator Bayou is one of them. We caught hostile operatives with Ryujin Tech a while back and linked them to the Freestar Collective's Council of Governors. Saito was enraged. He wanted more than the usual compensation from the Freestar Collective. He wanted the truth. When the truth was refused, he went after Bayou, accusing him of knowingly condoning the Council's actions. The compensation should have been enough. To this day, I can only speculate on why the truth was so important. Indeed he was. I felt he left me no choice but to propose his removal, and the others nominated me as his successor.
And we shall be on our way.
All right, let's see what's up there.
Do you think the documentary about your life will be made into a movie? And who do you think...
Do you have a favorite restaurant here? Mine is currently Whetstone, but it changes.